Hey folks, my name is Jane Tiberio, and I'm a nutritionist and a wellness coach. Welcome to Healing Outside the Box. Today we have episode 202, and I'm calling it Cool Winter Produce That You May Not Have Thought About. Now, if you're into produce and you miss your blueberries and fresh local salad greens, you may be very sad right now. Very sad. That is, if you live north of the equator like I do. But fear not, because there are plenty of fruits and vegetables that grow either late into the season or travel well from places like California or Florida. So I'm just going to run through a few of them and focus on some of the fruits and vegetables that are less common. The first one is the winter squashes. There are a bunch of winter squashes that are yummy and travel well because of their hard outer skin. My favorite happens to be butternut squash, which is great if you simply want to bake it face down, cut it in half first, of course, and season it with a little salt and pepper and maybe some olive oil. Another winter squash, less well known, is called Hubbard squash. It's delicious and it's rich in vitamins A and C. Those are both antioxidants, FYI, and this squash is also high in potassium and fiber. Ditto for acorn squash. Now, although chayote sounds like something you might chase off your property with a shotgun, it's actually a nutritious vegetable that can be used in Mediterranean-type diets as well as ketogenic diets. Chayote, or chayote, is from the gourd family. It's a vine vegetable that crawls along the ground like zucchini or yellow squash. It looks a bit like a light green pear and feels like a pepper. Flavor-wise, it tastes like a mild cucumber and absorbs the flavor from the sauce or salad dressings you put on it. It has essentially no fat, cholesterol, or sodium, and very little carbohydrate. It does, however, contain 165 milligrams of potassium, which is a good amount, and over 2 grams of fiber. It is an excellent source of vitamin C, contains some magnesium, vitamin B6, and folic acid. By the way, folic acid and folate are the same thing. A cup of raw chayote, cut in 1-inch pieces, is about 25 calories. As for what you can do with your chayote, you can simply substitute this vegetable for any meal made with zucchini or summer squash. That last sentence just reminded me of a time that I said a very bad thing. I was meeting with our then Congressman John Tierney, and I was very nervous and wanted to be on my best behavior. But, as sometimes happens, I opened my mouth, and occasionally words come out that are unintended. I was telling the congressman what I do for my clients as a nutritionist, and I said, I basically tell them what they can do with their zucchini. And as soon as I said it, I realized, those words aren't going to go back inside my mouth, are they? The congressman and his young aide were biting their lip, trying not to laugh. Because I'm Irish, I imagine my face turned the shade of a tomato. Anyway, back to the chayote. Although the skin is technically edible, it's usually a bit tougher than a zucchini, and you may want to cook it or peel it. As a side dish, it can be boiled or mashed. It could be baked, as above, pan-fried, or even pickled. By the way, pickles, of almost any kind, are a great way to get vegetables in the winter. I might use chayote as a sliced or cubed vegetable in, say, a stir-fry. For something completely different, you could try splitting it in half, scooping out the meat, and stuffing it with pulp, seasonings, and, say, pumpkin seeds or pine nuts. You can stuff almost any of these stuffable squashes and make a full meal out of them. Number 2. Mushrooms. There's a bunch of different kinds of mushrooms, and they're all nutritious. Mushrooms are rich in a specific type of antioxidant that studies have shown may fight cancer cells. They are excellent sources of the B vitamins, fiber, and very low in calories. About 15 calories for a cup of mushrooms. If you happen to be a vegan or a non-milk drinking vegetarian, this is the best source of vitamin D. Number 3. Garlic. Garlic has essentially no calories and tons of flavor. Cultures known for their cooking, Italians, Greeks, French, always have garlic around the house. If you do a taste test and you've got two dishes that are side by side identical, except for the fact that one has garlic and the other doesn't, I bet you would prefer the one with garlic. Although you may not pick it up right away because it has a milder flavor once it's cooked. I'm currently reading a memoir by Alan Arkin where he says, "I know two things for sure. Everything changes, and you can never have enough garlic." Can I get an amen to that? Garlic contains flavonoids that can boost immunity and has mild antibacterial properties. By the way, if you haven't seen it, Alan Arkin was in a movie called The Russians Are Coming, or The Russians Are Coming, or The Russians Are Coming. If you haven't seen it yet, you may want to give it a go. Number 4. Since we're talking about garlic, let's talk about onions. It's also something that it is nice to have around the house because they seem to last forever through the winter months and they make everything taste better. Onions have vitamin C and a few B vitamins, not too much, but certainly enough. But you may want onion in your repertoire because it is both an antioxidant and it has anti-inflammatory properties. Number 5. Organic tomato products. I know it's hard to get fresh organic tomatoes this time of year, so why not get the organic canned tomatoes or boxed tomatoes? I use the San Marzano type of tomatoes for my red sauces. Those type of organic tomatoes are low in sodium and don't have any added preservatives or Roundup ingredients. Tomatoes are rich in something called lycopene, which has been found in several studies to fight off cancer. Tomatoes are also a strong antioxidant and extremely low in calories. Number 6. Beets. This is one of my favorite things to recommend because if you're not a cook, you can simply buy the pickled beets and they still come packed with nutrients. Beets are high in vitamin A and C as well. A few studies have shown that they may be capable of both lowering blood pressure and LDL cholesterol. The reasons for this are still not clear. Number 7. A large sweet potato contains more than a day's worth of vitamin A. And sweet potatoes are also in the yummy category. In addition to the antioxidants, sweet potatoes have plenty of B vitamins, fiber, and potassium. It also has an antioxidant called glutathione, which may enhance immunity, and who doesn't want that? Broccoli sprouts. I know, I'm about to get a big eye roll on this one, but if you want to grow something indoors in the winter, try growing sprouts like broccoli or bean sprouts. They take about 2 to 3 weeks and are packed with antioxidants and cancer-fighting substances. Okay, now let's talk about the fruits. Number 1. Berries, berries, and more berries. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, cherries. I know it's winter up in these here parts, but what I am recommending is that you get organic frozen berries. Then you can just add them to your favorite smoothie or whatever you want. Or you could get a graham cracker crust and make fruit pies. Berries are powerful antioxidants, very high in fiber. Most have plenty of flavonoids, which are good. These flavonoids have been shown to boost heart health and slow age-related decline. And who ain't up for that? Now, blueberries in particular have been studied and found to various degrees responsible for keeping the mind healthy, improving memory and cognition. They may also help control blood sugars, possibly because of their high fiber content. And that's in addition to being an all-around good source of vitamins A and C. Number 2, pink grapefruit. Now, grapefruits come in pink, yellow, and red varieties, but I like the pink. They're loaded with all kinds of nutrients, obviously A and C, and they have done some research into some specific manner that they help with weight loss. But again, the details are still unclear. Also, an entire grapefruit is about 50 calories. Number 3. Tangerines and clementines. These fruits travel well and are high in both soluble and insoluble fiber. Like everyone else, they are high in antioxidants, but they're also a good source of lutein, a substance that is good for your eyes. There's been a few studies that suggest tangerines may help control type 2 diabetes, as well as heart disease. Number 4. Pomelos. Now these may look a little like a grapefruit, but they taste like a melon, and they are harvested and shipped during the winter months. Pomelos are low in calories, high in fiber, and a good source of potassium and the antioxidants. Number 5. There's a couple of adorable little hybrid fruits that are harvested in the fall. The first is lime quarts, which is a hybrid between a lime and a kumquat. I know. These come out in the late fall, as late as November, and, like the others, they have loads of vitamin C and fiber. You can eat them like an apple, because the rind is edible, or you could add them to recipes where you would normally have lemons or limes. The other one is pluot, and this is a hybrid between a plum and an apricot. Basically the same story here. They are loaded with fiber, vitamins A and C, and very low in calories. Number 6. Pineapple. This obviously can be shipped well during the winter months, and it will stay good for a long time. Pineapples have plenty of nutrients, antioxidants, and other goodies, but pineapples also have an enzyme that can fight inflammation and possibly diseases caused by inflammation. Pineapples have some B vitamins, but also a little protein and some iron. Pineapples also contain enzymes called proteases, which break down protein into amino acid building blocks. And if you can have help with your digestion, why not take it? And last on my list of fruits is the great banana. What's not to love here? They have plenty of potassium, natural sweetness, and contrary to popular belief, they're not really constipating. In fact, when bananas are eaten, provided they're ripe, they'll actually help you move the food through your GI tract. It's only when bananas are green and heavy on the starch that they may be harder to digest, but just eat them yellow and you're all set. And I'm not going to go there and suggest what you may want to do with your banana, because I've fallen down that rabbit hole before, and I've learned my lesson. As always, if you have any questions or want suggestions for things that you can do with these great winter produce, you can contact me on my contact page, which is on my website, healingoutsidethebox.com. Now that's all I have for you today. Be well and stay tuned next week for another episode of Healing Outside the Box.